So here's something that it's a little bit unfortunate we're talking about this already, and I hesitated to even do this segment because Billy Napier is still the head coach at Florida. But let's be real here. We all know where this is headed. We talked about it on Sunday. We talked about it after that A&M game. Like, we know this is probably where this is heading. I would be wildly shocked if Billy Napier is still the head coach at the University of Florida. Florida Gator fans, we appreciate y'all for being subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. If you have not yet subscribed, would love to have y'all a part of this college football sicko community. So with that being the reality that we're all sort of aligned on here across the college football landscape, how would we feel about Lane Kiffin potentially being a name that's getting floated around right now to be the next head coach of the Florida Gators? On the College Game Day podcast, I believe it was yesterday, Ryan McGee said that people with legitimate power at Florida that he has been in rooms with have said that Lane Kiffin, head coach at Ole Miss, they're on a tear right now. They're an absolute wagon out there in Oxford. He said that he is the list. Not that, he's at the top of the list. They said he is the list. Is that true? Remains to be seen, but that's what was said. Reese Davis, host of College Game Day and also the College Game Day podcast, made a really interesting point. He said that Lane Kiffin has a better job right now at Ole Miss. He said at best, quote, at best he is making a lateral move, end quote. He said that the alignment with the NIL and the ability to make decisions, the fact that he has control at Ole Miss is a massive reason as to why he should stay at Ole Miss. And this kind of just got the gears spinning and also just made it, I believe, like a topic that's okay to talk about, quite frankly. Lane Kiffin in Florida is a fascinating discussion right now. And I understand the draw, right? What he's done at Ole Miss, he's fun, he makes you relevant. Not that Florida's irrelevant ever because of that brand, but I mean, he would probably allow Florida to, over the course of the next few years, have some more success on the field. I get it. I get the draw to Lane Kiffin. But here's my question, man. For Florida, are you really about that life when it comes to Lane Kiffin? And I know you think you are. I know you say you are. I know you point to Steve Spurrier and say, well, he beat to his own drum. We were great with him. I mean, we built a statue to Steve Spurrier. I get that. But are you really about that life when it comes to Lane Kiffin in modern college football? Because he's going to portal. You may not get to brag about your national signing day, team ranking spot on the On3 industry recruiting rankings. You might be in that similar spot you're at right now. He's, from what I can tell, not going to just go out and be a hound on the high school recruiting trail. You'll land some players. You'll have some success. But again, you're not going to be in that top 10 range every single year from what I can guesstimate so far. He's going to tweet. He's going to troll. I know you say you're okay with that, but are you really okay with that? He's going to want to do things his way. And I've said this before, but you don't just half-heartedly commit to the Lane Kiffin experience. You don't tippy-toe in. It's like whenever you're deciding to go out with your friends or go out to a concert with your friends is a better way to put it. If you go to that concert with one foot out the door and thinking about calling the Uber and getting back to the house because you're just I don't really know if I want to do this. I don't know if this is really I'll try it. I'll see if I get there and like it. If you have the we'll try it mentality with Lane Kiffin, you're not going to enjoy yourself. It's not going to work. It is either all in on Lane Kiffin or go all in on somebody else. You don't get to half-heartedly hire Lane Kiffin is what I'm trying to tell you now. You better be 110% sure you are okay with how he's going to do things. And I think, honestly, you need to give him the control that he needs to have. Because by the looks of things, what he's done at Ole Miss, you give Lane Kiffin control, it should work. It should work, but are you able to surrender that control? Are you able to stomach the way that he's going to do things for a short period of time? It's also worth noting now, I know you say the Steve Spurrier thing, hey, he beat to his own drum. He operated a certain way with the media. We were cool with it. Yeah, you were cool with it, but you never had to be cool with it when things weren't going well. Make no mistake. If and when Billy Napier is fired at Florida, you will not have the same roster. The portal does what the portal does. And Lane Kiffin's going to hit the portal hard if he ends up being your next head coach and you'll make some big acquisitions. There's no way around that. But understand now, it might be rocky for that first year. Now, does Rocky look like 7-5? Does Rocky look like 4-8? What does Rocky look like? I don't know. But I will say this. You never had to endure, which is the wrong word, endure. You never had to be okay with Steve Spurrier in a losing season. His first year at Florida, you went 9-2. You would have to, I believe, be okay with Lane Kiffin in the building stage of things. It's one thing to say you're cool with it. Everyone's okay with the long-term process. Everyone's okay with the build when you're sitting there at SEC Media Days, but you're not okay with it when it's October and you're fighting to be bowl eligible. Then you start to really look in the mirror and question yourself. So, you can be on board with anything while you're winning. But just understand now, if you hire Lane Kiffin, you might have to be on board and have some vision for the idea that he may not have the lightning in a bottle success that you want him to have year one. Now, here's what I would say as it pertains to Lane Kiffin, because that's the other question. Like Reese Davis, his whole point is Lane Kiffin wouldn't leave Ole Miss for that job. And I don't know that to be true or untrue, but I think all the points that he's making check out. Like if you're making a pros and cons list, there's a whole lot of pros on the Ole Miss side. And I'd say there's a ton of cons for the Florida side, but like from what I can gauge, all the control Lane Kiffin would want by nature of this conversation from Reese Davis, he has at Ole Miss. Does he have that at Florida? Even it being a yes from an 8 out of 10 perspective, even saying, yeah, we think so. Ole Miss isn't saying, yeah, we think so. Ole Miss is saying you have the control and then some. Like that's the reason why I love Ole Miss so much for Lane Kiffin. I think it's a great fit for him. I think they have embraced Lane Kiffin experience. They haven't just allowed him to be Lane Kiffin. They have championed him to be Lane Kiffin. They've supported the whole transfer to the SIP movement. They've supported the way that he operates with the media. They've supported the way that he's, tweeting and things like Lane Kiffin, I think, is right there in his sweet spot. Why would you leave? For the logo? Maybe. Maybe he would leave. I don't know. Maybe that would be the case why you leave. But I would say in modern college football, with player mobility, with the portal, with resources and alignment with your resources being so massive, that Lane Kiffin currently has at Ole Miss by nature of how they're attacking the portal every single offseason, it'd be a hard thing to just walk away from, in my humble opinion. And overall now, Josh Newberg and I were talking about this before the show when it comes to just coaching searches in general, whenever those happen. It's never the main character. It's never that first name. Like my take on this has always been, you treat college football head coaching searches how you treat murder mysteries. I know it looks a certain way. I know it looks like the bitter wife who had the life insurance policy did it. I know she's the main suspect, but typically it's never that person. Typically it is the butler. As Jake Crane would say, it is Alfred holding the candle somewhere in a dark hallway. That's typically who ended up doing it. So I'm just saying now, Lane Kiffin, to me, I understand it's the big name. I understand that he's going to be thrown into a lot of high-profile coaching searches whenever they come available. Last year at Alabama, that was a name that was thrown out as soon as that job became available. The Auburn job a couple years ago, his name gets thrown out when it becomes available. I'm just saying, I think he's a great fit for Ole Miss, and I think to take him to Florida would take a lot. And I also think that Florida, I don't know if that's really the solution. It might be the best name, but it may not be the best solution for what you're looking for. Now, if you're willing to 110% commit to Lane Kiffin and the way that he does things, you say, hey, Lane, here's the keys, lock up when you're done. Great. And I think that could be a approach that we see from Florida if it ends up going this way. However, I have my reservations, and I don't know that it's the best fit. I don't know that it makes the most sense to me when we talk it out past just the excitement of the name. So let me know in the comment section what y'all think about the potential of Lane Kiffin in Florida. I get it. I understand it, but send me your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll chop it up there. Appreciate y'all in advance.